Hi, my name is Jesse Scott, and I'll be talking to you guys about an ergogenic aid known as bovine colostrum. Bovine colostrum is the fluid that is produced by the mammary glands of cows during the first 2 days after giving birth. It is a pre-milk fluid that is rich in immune and growth factors which promote tissue growth and the development of the digestive tract and immune function in newborn calves. In a review done by Shing and Hunter in 2012, they found evidence to suggest that BC supplementation may improve power, peak vertical jump power, peak cycle power, and lean body mass. The lean body mass was especially evident with creatine and BC combined rather than any of the other intervention groups. Continuing on Shing and Hunter's review was the research on recovery and endurance. They found that there was significant increase in blood buffering capacity. There were also improvements in cycling, time trial performance following prolonged endurance performance. There was also improved repeat running performance following a short recovery period, and a maintenance of ventilatory threshold following a high-intensity training period. These studies suggest that colostrum may also enhance recovery and in turn improve repeat endurance performance. There's also studies that show that time trial performances were significantly improved in cyclists, and also repeated sprint running performance was also improved in these different studies. One reason why there's evidence of performance enhancement is due to the immune function of BC. A depressed immune system is associated with an increased risk of upper respiratory tract infection, which I'll just call URTI. The potentially beneficial effects of BC on immune function may be related to the observed reduction in URTI's symptoms following a period of supplementation. In Shing and Hunter's review, children experiencing recurrent URTIs experienced a significant reduction in the incidence of URTIs with 12 weeks of BC supplementation. In another study done by Brinkworth and Buckley, they examined logbooks on self-reported symptoms of illnesses, and they concluded that there was significant decreases in URTI in BC supplementation group compared to the placebo group that just did supplemented whey protein. Salivary IgA, or known as immunoglobulin A, is an antibody that plays a critical role in mucosal immunity. Salivary IgA concentrations decline immediately after a bout of intense exercise and usually recover within 24 hours. Merrill and colleagues showed that athletes ingesting BC powder for 2 weeks at a dose of 20 grams a day experienced a 33% increase in resting salivary IgA concentrations. According to those two pieces of evidence, there may be a correlation between increase in salivary IgA and a decrease in URTI. But there is conflicting research on salivary IgA levels with BC supplementation. But by limiting the post-exercise immune suppression response, recovery could potentially be easier and URTI can be hindered. URTIs can easily disrupt a training schedule and decrease overall athletic performance and can be detriment to overall improved fitness. Another reason why BC supplementation may have shown performance enhancing components to it may be due to the neuroendocrine function. Colostrum has been shown to enhance maturation of the hypothalamic pituitary somatotropic axis and influence neuroendocrine function. BC supplementation has been associated with decrease in fatigue and increase in vigor in healthy males following 8 weeks of BC supplementation. And by decreasing a sense of fatigue and with an increase in vigor, that may be a contributing factor in why there's these enhancing performances in the studies that we've already looked at. One major mechanism for the increase in power is the presence of insulin-like growth factors in BC. The major action of IGFs is on cell growth. So most of the actions of the pituitary growth hormone are mediated by IGFs, primarily IGF-1, which is what is in BC. Growth hormone stimulates many tissues, particularly the liver, to synthesize and secrete IGF, which in turn stimulates both hypertrophy, which is increase in cell size, and hyperplasia, which is increase in cell number of most tissues, and that's including bone as well. Studies are conflicting on whether IGF levels in plasma are elevated with BC supplementation, but that's still up. There's some that say that there is, that the levels go up, and some that say that the levels stay the same. Overall, potential mechanisms that researchers have speculated may be responsible for observed improvements in exercise performance and immune surveillance following colostrum supplementation include increases in plasma concentrations of IGF-1, improved intramuscular buffering capacity, increases in lean body mass, and increases in salivary IgA concentrations. While reports of adverse effects of BC supplementation in humans are limited, those intolerant to cow's milk, proteins such as casein and whey or lactose should avoid BC. But besides that, there aren't any known side effects that are involved with BC. BC is not on the banned substance list for WADA or NCAA. There have been worries that with IGFs in BC, there could be a positive doping test. The research that has been done by Coopers and his colleagues refuted that. They supplemented athletes with BC for 4 weeks and 60 milligrams daily before sending them into an accredited International Olympic Committee laboratory. And the analysis of the blood samples revealed no significant changes or increases in IGF-1 or its associated binding protein. And there were no positive doping tests returned for the athletes. So it doesn't seem that would be a factor at all. Before I let you go, I do want to stress that there was a lot of conflicting data and there's a lot of room for further research. For me though, there was enough evidence to conclude that there are probable benefits for athletes interested in like power and endurance, with recovery being an added component. The fact that there's little to no side effects makes it a harmless way, yet possibly rewarding way to improve performance. Anyway, thanks for watching guys. See you next time.